Oh, yeah. Welcome in. It is Tuesday night, and it is time for Views from the Stands. Man, we're so excited to be with you guys tonight. We have a fun show for you tonight, man. A lot of interesting stuff that's happened the last couple of days. We have a new national football champion in the world of college football, and what a hell of a game last night. Me and George will definitely be talking about that one. You know, GMike is a big guy, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Indiana pulled that one out, and that was an amazing game. We also have some coaching news. That seems like it's been a big thing coming up the last few weeks. Coaches every week. We got some new ones getting hired and new ones getting fired. And we don't debate whether we see that was the right moves or not. We also have the NFC and the AFC championship games coming up this weekend. I cannot believe that we're already at this point at the Super Bowl is right around the corner. It's crazy. It seems like this year's started going by so fast already. We also have a fun down bad debate for you. And of course, any news that's from around the world of sports. GMike, man, how are you feeling after last night, my friend? You doing a wellness check? Everything we doing good, or how we feeling, my friend?
Feeling all right. You know, it was a disappointment, but feeling all right, man. At the end of the day, a proud UM fan will always be. And, man, they played their hearts out, man. You know, you can't even knock them, bro. They played their hearts out.
No, I 100% agree with you. I think that was one hell of a game. So why don't we just go ahead and jump into it, man? We have the national championship game last night, and that was one awesome game. It was a tale of two halves, man. The first half was all defense, and both teams were playing, you know, kind of almost like the heavyweight bout. They're trying to fill each other out. Not too much that really happened in the very beginning, but that second half, man, it just went on fire, man. As a UM fan, I know you guys going into halftime, it was still in reach. How did you feel going into halftime, man?
Well, we're a better second half team for sure. So the confidence was up there. The confidence was very high, and didn't really have any doubts going into the second half. I knew we were gonna, you know, come out swinging and punching them in the face as well. You know, just when the game went on, dude, like their offense is just better than ours when you put it plain and simple. I mean, Fernando Mendoza showed why he's a Heisman winner. He was throwing balls, putting them in the right spots to his guys, and while Carson Beck wasn't really doing that the whole game. For Miami's offense, it was Mark Fletcher that was really doing everything. He had 2 rushing TDs and it was like a 64-yard run that looked like kind of similarity to Derrick Henry, in my opinion. And that's it right there, dude. But when it comes to our defense, I feel like the times that we played zone with our secondary is when we really got cooked. There was a lot of times that we were playing 10 to almost 12 yards away from the receivers, and Fernando Mendoza would do a zone read. He'll keep it and he'll throw it out because he saw how far the corners were playing off of his receivers. He had like about 6 to 7 completions like that. And then what didn't help is our third down conversions. We only had 1 of 8 third down conversions the whole game. It's like, how do you expect to win a national championship like that? And then obviously leading down to the last drive where we actually had a chance to, you know, come back and win the game. Carson Beck throws a crazy ball that looked like, I don't know what he was looking at. He was supposed to be throwing it down to the sideline and up to the touchdown area, and he threw it to the numbers and away from the receiver, and it got intercepted, and the ball game was over.
Yeah, actually, if you're looking at the on here right here, the highlights coming up here, and if you look to the defense, read exactly what he was doing. And watching it last night, you could see the one defender was able to trail back, leading the other guy to just be able to hawk the ball. So that it was just a great defensive play, I think, for Indiana in that position. They played great defense all year. They were just neck and neck, and obviously the biggest, strongest point for UM obviously was their defense, I believe. Fletcher is one hell of an athlete, and Tony's one hell of an athlete as well. But I think the Miami Hurricanes, their biggest thing was their defense, without a doubt. And man, I was just really impressed, and I can say you, and I'm hoping you're probably going to agree with. I think the U is back after this one, man. They went toe to toe with the number 1 team in the country, and it's great to have them. They had to have Miami back as a relevant team in the national championship. But you got to give credit where credit is due, man. Indiana winning their first national championship. crazy as it is, they went 16-0. The last time that a team has done that, been undefeated as well, was Indiana in basketball. I believe it was like 1972. So Indiana, it's about time for them to finally get on the map for football as well. And I really don't think that they're going to go anywhere too. I think this isn't like a one-time thing. I think Indiana's going to be here for a little while with the NIL deals that they have going on, and just the fact of they have a hell of a coach. And they believe in the coach, and he's building one hell of a program. This is 2 years in the making. They pretty much got a bunch of transfers from JMU, and last year they came on strong. A lot of people are like, okay, this isn't going to last. And then they came back the next year undefeated. They were battle tested. They went into Penn State. They beat Oregon twice. They played some real good teams this year, and they were able to pull it out, and they deserve to be where they are. I think undoubtedly it was one hell of a year for them, and we got to get to the biggest thing as well with this too is, what do you think is going to happen with Mendoza? Is he going to be number 1 overall pick? And you saw Tom Brady on the sideline last night. He was doing a little bit of early scoping, if you will, because the Raiders have the number 1 overall pick. What's your thoughts? Is Mendoza a first-round pick? A first overall pick.
He can be a first overall pick, but there's been rumors going around that the Raiders might trade that pick and use Max Crosby as well to try to trade, either get some picks back and try to get, more in the draft than just the number 1 pick overall. Try to get, move back a couple slots and try to get a second round, a third round in with it. And there's been rumors that they're trying to go for Baltimore Ravens quarterback with Lamar Jackson. So that would be something to watch for sure. But, if you're asking me, is Mendoza worth the number 1 pick? Yes, he is. I feel like he's very poised. He's intelligent. He knows when to get to the ball to his guys. Great timing. The guy is a dog. You saw it there on that one rush TD in the national championship game. He puts his shoulder down. He gets back up and he dives in the end zone where he got hit by 2 defenders. Well, he got hit by 2 defenders, and it looked like, his back could have been messed up. But at the end of the game, the reporter asked him, like, what was going through your mind after that play? And he said, I'll die for my teammates. And I feel like he would. He really would. So, yeah, I think he is worth the number 1 overall pick. Now, do I think it's smart for the Raiders to do that? Not necessarily. I think they got a lot to work on with their offensive line. Obviously, the quarterback position. I think some receiver help as well. And maybe even a little bit of the secondary on defense. But if you get number 1 overall pick and, you want to trade it for some assets, hey, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier as well, and it's a rough situation for the Raiders because the Raiders need so much help right now. And I know you don't necessarily want to pass up if you think that Mendoza is the guy and you can build around him. You don't want to pass that up. But on the other hand, too, you could possibly get a king's ransom for another team that's willing to trade up and grab him. I think Mendoza is worth that pick as well. I kind of think the Raiders would be smart in grabbing him. For something about this kid, he just strikes me as a winner. I think he's poised. He's going to kill every interview. He has a dog mentality in him. You can see it in those plays. He got his ass kicked that entire game, and you did not see any kind of him, holding his head down. He was poised the entire time and did not let the moment get too big for him. So I think that's a preview of what could be with the Raiders. That defense just clobbered him, because if he does go to the Raiders, let's face it, you nailed it right there. They need help on the offensive line. That's part of why Ashton Genty didn't have as dominant as a season as he wanted to, and Brock Bowers, he got hurt, but they need help, yes. But I think if Mendoza just proved it right there, that against a NFL caliber pass rush, which I think the Miami Dolphins have, or not Miami Dolphins, excuse me, Miami Hurricanes have, that just proved it right there. And he still was able to pull it out. And he had great numbers still. His numbers weren't going to blow you off the charts, but it's the fact that he did when it mattered, he made those plays. He made the play, both the back shoulder fades to the Charlie Booker. That guy was awesome. That was very clutch moments right there. And the head coach trusted him. Also, they called the timeout they're going to send the field goal out there. And he said, I trust my guy, and sometimes you just got to take that chance. And that's what really sealed the game, I think, really was beyond the Carson Beck interception. But that momentum change right there. Miami was able to come back and score, but the game just didn't look the same after that point. That was just one of those moments that I think will live on in college football history, just that the hits that he took and the dive, and he is from Miami. So it was such a cool story to end the college football playoff. Ironically, Miami playing at home and the kid is from Miami. And the whole story about how they didn't really take him on and he wanted to play for them. His parents both went to Miami. They were all Miami kids. And the whole time they were showing him in the stadium as a child. And all he wanted to do was play for Miami. And then ironically gets to steal it from Miami at the end of the year. So it was one hell of a game. But I think it's going to be very interesting coming up in the draft season because I think it's going to just be how he tests. I think he's going to blow everybody away in the interview process. If you listen to his post games and anytime you hear him talk, he just has it. He has it all together. He seems poised and ready to go. So I think he'll be blowing away the interview process. He's just going to be what his measurables are. He's a pretty big guy, but I think I would like to see him put on a little bit more muscle. But that's going to come with the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't go number 1 to the Raiders, he's going to go number 2 to the Jets for sure because obviously Dante Moore is not going to be there. He's going back to Oregon. So 1 or 2 are going to be taking quarterbacks for sure. And I'm thinking Sampson is probably going to go to the Jets if the Raiders take Mendoza. But again, if the Raiders are looking to do something with that number 1 overall pick, I would say try to go for Lamar Jackson for sure or trade back and try to get a second round and a third round pick as well. Try to have 2 picks in each of those drafts with trading away the number 1 pick.
Yeah, we got plenty of time to go over that because, the draft hasn't even came out yet or anything like that. And we got plenty of time to go over all that. And we'll definitely be looking into it more. But it's just a very interesting, table conversation because it is a big thing that they're going to have to figure out. Clearly, they need a quarterback, and so this is going to be very interesting to see what's going to be coming.
Geno Smith ain't it, doggy. Geno Smith ain't it, dog. And I don't even put all the blame on him, bro. I don't even put all the blame on him because when he was in Seattle, he had a great offensive line. You go to the Raiders that they don't have an offensive line like that they kind of look like the New York Jets, and it's like you expect him to turn water into wine, and it's not going to happen. You need a good protection up front so you can protect your quarterback, so you can run the ball good as well. Like you said, Alton Genti was supposed to have a phenomenal rookie season, and he had a good rookie season, don't get me wrong. But it was supposed to be better for sure with stats and scoring and all that. But you need a better offensive line, man. So if you're going to draft Mendoza and put him out there with that offensive line you have, you're going to set him up for failure. So my opinion, stick it out with Geno Smith. Either trade back, try to get some assets, try to get some offensive line, try to get another receiver, something. But going with the number 1 overall pick and just choosing Mendoza, I don't know.
Well, like we were saying before, we'll definitely be getting more in the draft season when that actually comes around or whatever. But there's a lot of major news going on around the league, so let's go ahead and jump into the news for the day.
News from the world of sports.
Man, we had some big news coming out of Golden State and Jimmy Buckets, man. Jimmy Butler is out for the season with a torn ACL. This was devastating for the Golden State Warriors, who are starting to make it kind of a little bit of a comeback. They were sitting in the 8th seed right now in the West. This is just going to I think this has a lot of ramifications going further with the season, honestly, and trajectory of, got Curry and you got Draymond Green and all these guys are starting to get older. And there was also talks about possibly getting rid of Kuminga, I believe it was. GMike, man, what's your thoughts on this? How are they going to respond to this? Is this it for the dynasty for the Warriors? Are they done? What are they going to do?
Man, I think the dynasty for the Warriors has been done, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's bad choice of words. Bad choice of words, but you get what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard rumors that they're going to try and trade Jimmy, even though he has a torn ACL. I don't know how much you're going to get back for that with the contract extension that you just gave him. That all that money's going to be tied to him. I don't know what you're going to get back for him, but they're going to try and trade him, is what I've been hearing. But if they don't and they end up keeping him and he comes back next season, we can see what it does. But for right now, I mean, Warriors don't look like they're going to make a playoff spot or even a play-in spot, in my opinion. And they're going to have to look to someone else to help Curry when it comes to scoring because Buddy Hield's not getting it done. Obviously, Draymond Green's not getting it done. Klay Thompson is not there no more. It's not like you could get him back and then take him off the bench and put him in the game. You're going to have to rely on somebody else, and that somebody else is going to have to be Jonathan Kuminga. I know that relationship is a little bit tarnished between the coaching staff and the front office, and Kuminga has been wanting to get more minutes and all this stuff, and now he's been looking like, I'm trying to get up out of here and trade me to another team. He's been openly talking about that, hey, I wouldn't mind playing for another squad, stuff like that. So I think it would be better for them to give Kuminga the minutes that he should get. Go out there and try to score at least 15 to maybe 17 points per game because he could do it. He's done it. He's just got to make it more consistent. But I feel like, again, there's a relationship there that is just too tarnished. I don't think they're going to be able to put him out there on the floor like that. I don't think he wants to be out there on the floor like that for Golden State. And now you're just going to have to rely on Stephen Curry. And the guy's old, man. He's like 36. And you can't expect him to put up 50 points per game. It's just
Jimmy
like
Butler's 36 as well.
Yeah, but now with a torn ACL, obviously, you got to wait for him to come back. He's older, so maybe he doesn't come back the same. Even though he's an intelligent player, he knows how to use his body and his motion to slow down the game. So, like, I'm not really worried about that. But now you got to wait for him to come back. And obviously, Golden State, they want to make a run at it every year, just like the other top teams, the Lakers, the Heat, the Boston Celtics. The list goes on and on. They want to make a run at it every single year, and Golden State is one of those teams, but you need to get another scorer for Curry, and right now, it looks like it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and the other thing that's an issue as well, is you already brought it up too, is Curry's age too. The issue is going to be is at this point is they're all aging stars. So, you're not going to, I don't think that they would waste any kind of assets to try to bring something around Curry, because at this point in time, I mean, how many more years does Curry have to where he's still one of the dominant players? I mean, maybe 2, maybe at most, somewhere in there, to where he starts. Granted, he's a shooter, so he's going to last a little longer, but he's just pretty much going to be, that's it, a shooter at that point, So I think this has such big ramifications. Jimmy Butler's career, for that matter, I mean, unfortunately for him, it's January when this happened. So, ACL is usually 6 to 8 months, sometimes maybe a year, depending on how it rehabs. So he's going to be looking at about 37-ish before he's probably coming back, and then you have to work your way back into it as well. So this is like a big thing for Jimmy Butler as well, that who knows if he's ever going to be able to get back to where he was. I mean, this season he was having a pretty good season. He was averaging 20 points, 5.5 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and shooting 51.9% from the field. So that's good numbers still for his age, but coming off of that ACL at 36 is a hell of a lot different than doing it at 30 or 28. Your body just takes longer to recover. So that one's going to be a big blow, I think, for the Warriors and what they do going forward. Do you think there's ever a chance, just throwing it out there, do you think there's ever a chance that they move on from Steph, or is it pretty much Steph is just going to be there until they, ride it out? Or do you think they can make any trades for Steph anymore?
Nah, I don't think you do that as an organization. Steph brought 4 championships there, obviously with help with Draymond Green and Klay Thompson and others. But, I think you just pay the respects and you let him retire there. Don't trade him. He's not a player that you trade like that, in my opinion. And if he decides that he wants to leave and start somewhere else new, you got to respect it and be like, yo, thank you for everything you've done for us. 4 championships, a lot of playoff games. Like, we appreciate it. You want to get out the door, that's cool. Don't worry. We're going to pay you your money. But to up and trade him or, try to use him as an asset, I don't think they should do that.
Yeah, I think that ship has kind of sailed as well. And like I was saying too, it's just hypothetical. I haven't heard anything or no one, nor am I saying that that's going to happen. It's just, you have to kind of start putting on that GM hat and start thinking about these kind of things of what can you get right now. What can you get right now? Draymond's older, your whole asset. Everybody, you went from having a good young team to now it's kind of like an aging team. And what do you do? So that's big for all around for a lot of different reasons. But hopefully Jimmy Butler is able to come back and recover. We, never want to see anybody go out on that kind of injuries, excuse me. So hopefully he makes a speedy recovery and comes back, because when Jimmy Butler has always been a fun player in the league, even though I'm sure you probably have ill will with being Miami Heat guy. But you still want to see Jimmy Butler come back. It's better when you have these good players in the league.
Not really ill will, man, because I get why he wanted to leave. He wanted to get paid. They didn't want to pay him. Like, I get both sides of it. Pat Riley didn't want to pay him because he's old and he hasn't really been showing much that he could stay on the court and be healthy. So I understood where Pat Riley was coming from. Then Jimmy Butler wanted to get paid because he's getting older and he's been showing like, yo, I've been doing a lot for Miami these last few years. I should get paid and I should get the security blank for it. I understand that too. But look, now, ironically, he tears his ACL against the team that didn't want to pay him because he's injury prone.
Yeah, that isn't it ironic? Don't you?
I don't want to be an asshole, but
sometimes it hurts, man. All right, so there was another and like we've been talking about it too. This last couple of weeks with coaching has just been insane, and this was one of the latest ones that was just crazy to me. Sean McDermott is out of Buffalo this season after the heartbreaking loss. We can go over it if you want to. I'm sure it's been probably people ad nauseum at it now. If it was a catch or was not a catch, that whole game was just a wild ass game. But needless to say, the biggest news coming out of it now is Sean McDermott is out as the Buffalo Bills head coach. McDermott finished at 98-50 in the regular season and 8-8 in the playoffs. GMike, was this a knee-jerk reaction? What was your first thought when you heard this news come out?
I was surprised, man. I was super surprised. The guy has a great success rate with the Buffalo Bills. He's taking them to a lot of playoff games. Yes, there's been arch nemesis in Kansas City Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes has taken them out and hasn't been letting them go to the big game in the Super Bowl. But this year round was the time to do it, right? But if you really look back on all of it, I wouldn't really put the blame on the coach. I wouldn't really put the blame on Josh Allen. Like, dude, defense, man. Defense. Every single time that they're losing in one of these games, Josh Allen is going off. Yes, he makes a mistake or two for sure. Everybody does. Every quarterback does. But the defense is always allowing points. And when you go back and look at this game against the Broncos, man, a touchdown that was not supposed to be a touchdown right before halftime happens. And it's like, how do you let someone go over the top of you with 22 seconds left when you know that they're trying to go for a touchdown? How does that happen? Because it's bad defense, man. Everybody can point the fingers at, oh, Josh Allen did a fumble. Oh, Josh Allen threw an interception late in the game and this and that. Yes, again, everybody make mistakes. But you're not going to talk about how Josh Allen literally led them to the playoffs. You're not going to talk about how he threw 3 passing TDs, like how he goes off on every single game. Y'all just want to point the fingers, obviously, at the people that are the head of the snake, which is the head coach and the quarterback, always. And you want to take them off, chop the head off, and get them out of there. Okay, I get it. But at the end of the day, you really going to find a better coach than McDermott right now? I don't see it.
I agree. And I think if we can actually, we'll get more into the Buffalo game later on. We'll just focus on, I think, McDermott for the moment here. But no, I agree. I think that this one was a shocker to me. I've talked to some Bills fans that were like, they were ready for this because they were tired of the constant heartbreak of getting to the playoffs, going on a run and getting about the same place every year, championship or the game before. But I completely agree with you that there's been a lot of things that's been out of his hands, and especially this season, going 12-5 with the roster that they had, that with all the injuries they had, it was damn impressive, honestly. They went into Jacksonville and won on the road as well. And Jacksonville was one of the hottest teams going. They went in a little bit injured. I think that McDermott deserved at least one more year, at least. I think he's been a damn good coach, but I can also understand where some of the Bills fans might have been like, let's go ahead and get this guy out of here and get some fresh blood because we do have arguably the best quarterback in the league, or the most important quarterback in the league. You can, put him up there, Mahomes, Burrow, whoever you want, but Josh Allen is the man. Let's face it, there's no way around it. Having said that, I don't think this was McDermott's problem. The only game I would give him that was necessarily his fault maybe was whenever they mismanaged the time clock, both the 13 seconds and, obviously Kansas City ends up winning that game. But other than that, I thought McDermott's done a hell of a job. Now, do you think McDermott is going to get hired on right away, or is he going to be another one of those wait for the times right maybe next year?
Well, that's all ultimately on his decision. But if it was up to someone else going to hire him, yes, he's going to get hired right away, 100%. I think that's going to happen within the next week or two if he decides to take some interviews and doesn't decide to, oh, you know what, I'm going to just take a year off, relax, be with my family, be with my friends and all that, which is mad respect. You went on a long run. Now you got to get your mind right. A lot of stuff comes with coaching. If people don't know this, they spend almost 24/7 working at home, at the office, on the field, off the field, wherever. So if he decides not to come back and take a break, man, I respect him. If he decides to go right now and go for some interviews to get a head coaching job, yes, I see him getting hired next week.
Honestly, I was thinking about it this afternoon, because I knew we were going to be talking about this later on. I think the perfect spot would be for him. And I haven't heard them having interviews or even requesting interviews for it. This did just happen, though, would be Baltimore. I think Baltimore would be the absolute best spot for Sean McDermott. He was supposed to have a defensive background. And, I mean, think about it, too. You got Lamar Jackson out there. You have basically another version of Josh Allen in there. Granted, it didn't always work out in Buffalo, but that's, again, going back to the defense. I think you're right on that. So I think Baltimore would be the perfect spot for Sean McDermott. I think that would be an amazing hire for them. They seem like they're leaning towards Jesse Minter right now, but I also don't think a lot of people realize that Sean McDermott was going to be out there before some of these guys got hired. If I was him or if I was Baltimore, I would definitely be putting some feelers out there and see what it would take to get him in there. But that wasn't the only coach making some noise. We have some brand new coaches out here. And if you can't see on the screen, if you haven't heard yet, we got John Harbaugh taking the New York Giants job. We got Robert Saleh taking the Tennessee Titans job. Jeff Hafley taking the Miami Dolphins job. And Kevin Stefanski taking the Atlanta Falcons job. All right, so we got 4 coaches here. What is your thoughts on, are these the right spots for these guys? Do you think who's going to have success? Like, what's your general consensus thoughts on these new hires?
I think the one that, to me, that is super confusing and I don't know what's going to happen with is Jeff Hafley one. Like, we don't really know what he's going to bring to Miami. I know that he was the DC in Green Bay, but the defense in Green Bay this year was wishy-washy. When they ended up getting Micah Parsons, their run defense got a little bit better. Obviously, he goes out with a season-ending injury, so he gets up out of there. But their defense was like a roller coaster ride. Sometimes they were showing great glimpses of like, wow, this is like a top 5 defense. And then other games they were showing like, yo, where the hell are these guys playing? Who are they covering? Who are they tackling? So it's kind of weird bringing him in to see what he's going to do with the Miami Dolphins, and then especially the positions that the Dolphins are in. They don't know who's going to be their quarterback. They don't know if they're going to pay $50+ million to Tua sitting on the bench, or they're going to try yours, or there's rumors they might go for Malik Willis because Jeff likes Malik when he was the backup to Jordan Love this season and the previous season. I mean, the only thing that we do know that is positive here is that he has great relationship with the GM that they just brought in, who was the GM for the Packers. So,
he was
that's
assistant
the only
GM, yeah.
Yes, assistant GM, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that's the great relationship that they have right there. So that's a really good positive that they can, be on the same table, be on the same page about stuff. There's not going to be a lot of bickering back and forth between them two. And you really need that when it comes to a GM and a head coach. So I would say that's the only positive side here. But before I keep going, what do you think? What do you think with the
I would see this one's going to be really difficult because I think that the Dolphins are going to have to. This is a long-term game right here because I think the Dolphins are going to have to do a whole hell of a lot of rebuilding. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Tua. They owe him a lot of money, so that's not going to be necessarily easy to do. I think that he's coming in as a defensive guy, so maybe that's going to be the focus. But it's going to be definitely difficult, I think, for him overall out of all of these guys going forward because there's a pretty big mess over there in Miami right now. So I don't know. I hope that they give him a little bit of time to figure it out and not just make a knee-jerk reaction like a lot of these coaches have been doing. So that one's going to be interesting. I was kind of confused with the Robert Saleh one as well, going to Tennessee. I don't know. I didn't think that was a good one at first until I started listening and reading a little bit more. And I actually think that one might be pretty good because I think Robert Saleh is a grown-up in the room, and I think he's going to be able to help out with them. And Tennessee's defense was horrible last year, and he's going to come in there and change the defense. I think it's all going to come down to whether he hires the right coordinator. And I believe Kingsbury is still out there, and I think that would be an awesome coordinator for him to get. Someone that would be a great offensive coordinator and let him come in there and you run your offense, I run my defense kind of style. So I think that one will be really interesting. But I think the one that's going to have the most immediate success here is Kevin Stefanski. I've always liked Stefanski ever since he was in Cleveland. I was kind of surprised when they fired him as well. But I think that team is ready to go. They kept the defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, I believe it was. And they ended up keeping they kept him. And now he's also been a good an offensive guy as Kevin Stefanski. So I think with the weapons that Atlanta has, I think this was a great hire and a great job to get. But Did you just hear this? The news about Baker Mayfield and him, the shot he just took him. Did you hear about this?
Yeah. He's a
Yeah, I mean,
play 2 times in a row he threw him out like garbage.
yeah. So if you haven't heard, because this just recently came out, Baker Mayfield was going back and forth with someone on Twitter or something, and Baker Mayfield said, "A quote: I failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text/call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach." So Baker Mayfield is fired up that he's going to be now in that division with them. That was some shots taken right there at Kevin Stefanski. I don't know what happened between them guys. I didn't realize there was maybe that much bad blood in there. And I know Baker's been kind of, upset about that since he got shipped off, which they have to look back and think that was a bad move, knowing what we know now. But you never know what's going to happen with these guys. But, man, Harbaugh to the Giants. He was really excited about this, and the dynamic there is kind of interesting. He's pretty much going to be running the entire show. He basically just checks in with the president, and that's about it, really. He's got a fat contract. I think he's going to have to put some coordinators around him that make it work. But I think it's really going to come down to how well Jackson Dart can take care of himself. I think Harbaugh's got the mentality, the knowledge, and he's a great leader. What's your thoughts on him going to the Giants?
I think he's going to be the most successful hire here between these 4, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think the personnel that he has on offense, they're just straight playmakers, and Dart, Scatterbull, and Neighbors. I think they could work really well as a 3-headed monster when it comes to rushing, passing, and catching game, for sure. And then I love the defense. I mean, I know I had said this last year to you that they could have the best defensive front in the NFL, like if they really put their mind to it. And now with John Harbaugh coming in, that with the Baltimore Ravens, he was always defense first. I feel like he's going to really put in the motive there, try to hire a good DC that has the same motive as him and same mentality as him. I think putting those pieces all together between these 4 teams, that these 4 new head coaches that have gotten hired, I think the Giants will be the most successful. With the Titans one, I really like Robert Saleh because you saw what he did with the New York Jets when that whole defense was going crazy, and the only problem was that their offensive line and their QB situation was horrendous. Here, he has a great QB situation with Cam Ward. He could probably be a phenom in the NFL. Obviously, the offensive line needs some little tune-up. He needs to draft 1 or 2 or maybe try to trade or try to pick up in the free agent market. That's where it's going to get a little iffy there to try to protect Cam Ward, even though Cam Ward is a crazy playmaker. But when the defense, they were bad, but I think they have great personnel. They just didn't have good coaching. You bring in Robert Saleh, who's a defensive guru for the last 5 years, and I don't know, man. I think they could make a lot of noise. I get what you're saying with the Kevin Stefanski one, but what I don't like about the Falcons is their QB situation, because you got Michael Penix, it looks like he doesn't even know if he's going to play or not. He got 2 banged up knees. Kirk Cousins got a damn bad back that he's walking around there like he got a damn refrigerator around his body with that cage. And he's barely throwing darts anymore. So what are they going to do? Are they going to end up drafting another quarterback? They're going to bring in another quarterback, or they're going to try and thug it out with one of these quarterbacks and see what they can do. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a major problem. I'm banking the fact on that Penix is going to be able to come back. I think that's the only reason I was thinking that would be a great job there. If he's not, I think you're completely right. That's going to be an interesting thing because they also traded those first-round picks last year to get who was it, Pierce, I guess it was, or I can't remember who exactly it was, but they made a big splash as well to get some defensive players in there. Cousins is getting a little bit older now. Now, Cousins was with Stefanski, though, and Minnesota. So they do have a little bit of history, and Kirk Cousins was balling at that point in Minnesota. So maybe he's able to get a little bit extra, get a little bit more out of Kirk Cousins, even though Kirk Cousins is starting to show his age and those injuries. But towards the end of the year, Cousins was coming around a little bit. He didn't look as bad as he was prior to, but still is definitely a little slow. And you kind of want Michael Penix to come into his own. I think that's going to be an interesting one. But with the Dolphins down there too, is I think the quarterback situation is definitely worth talking about down there too. And someone that I was thinking that might be an interesting guy for them to go after maybe would maybe be like a Mac Jones coming in there with having you still got Waddle out there, and I don't know. I think Mac Jones might be a pretty decent pickup for the Dolphins possibly because they're gonna have to figure something out down there. But This is definitely an interesting thing, and there's still 6 jobs available. Isn't that insane, man? Have you ever seen a year where this many high-name profile coaches and teams are just out there? Usually it's 4 to 5 every year. You get some guys that go out there and stuff, but there are still 6 more jobs. It is a complete turnaround this year.
Yeah, no, that's why I think Sean McDermott is going to get a job if he really wants it right now.
Yeah, I think it'd be a shame if he doesn't, unless he absolutely doesn't not want to, like we were saying. But all right, well, speaking of, we'll stick with the NFL here, man, and we have some major games coming up this weekend, man. We have the AFC Championship game. We have the Denver Broncos taking on the New England Patriots, and man, if you would have thought the New England Patriots be in this situation right now, heading into this season, you would be a millionaire right now, because I don't think anybody, even the most diehard New England fans, even thought that they would be in this position here. And let's not forget the big news that came out of Denver over the weekend. Bo Nix is out for the remainder of the season with a broken bone in his ankle. So that means you're giving the New England Patriots a backup quarterback to Jared Stone to have to beat after they just put on a show taking on C.J. Stroud. Man, this is going to be one hell of an interesting game, because Drake May has been balling lately. He had a little bit of a bad game last game as well, but I think that was just weather related. I mean, who didn't have a bad game that last one? It was just nasty ass weather. But having said that, man, what's your thoughts on this, man? New England and Denver in the AFC Championship, man.
Man, the way that New England's playing, man, is just off the charts. Like, their defense and their offense is like, bro, they're not missing a beat. They're not making no mistakes. They're hustling to the ball. They're making sure every damn ball is caught. 2 hands, grip it, put it high and tight. No one's taking it out, man. Drake May looks phenomenal out there. He looks like a 10-year veteran throwing the ball with so much success, so much speed, so much accuracy, tenacity. The guy's IQ is out the charts, man. The way that New England's playing is just incredible, man. And, you know, I would like to say the same thing for the Broncos, because I really like their defense and I love the way that they play. But obviously not having Bo Nix, man, is really going to hurt them, bro. I do not have trust in the backup quarterback for nothing. I don't think they're going to be doing much. RJ Harvey is a good running back, but he's not going to be able to put 200 yards with 3 TDs on his back against a good New England defense like this, man. Man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for the Broncos, man. And the way that the Patriots put the beating on the Houston Texans, bro, is gonna be crazy. But let me ask, what is up with CJ Stroud? Is he out of there? Is he done for? What is going on, man?
Wow, CJ Stroud has not looked the same since his rookie season. And I remember me and you were on Peace on the Streets on the radio, and as a Colts fan, that was the year that he came in. We ended up getting Anthony Richardson that year, and I was thinking in my head, we were talking about, I was like, damn, man, I thought he was going to fall to us, man. I wanted him so bad because he just looked unstoppable. And since that first season, he has not looked the same at all. He did have a little bit of a injured season this year, but prior to that, he still wasn't even playing that good. I think honestly, the bigger question is, if you were DeMeco Ryans, should you have benched him there? Would you have benched him and brought in Davis Mills? Because Davis Mills played pretty decent. They were only down by about 10 points at most of that game until it got out of hand.
I don't know, man. That's a tough decision, bro, because imagine – you're relying on that guy and you're putting your money on that guy all season long. You know, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be good games and bad games, you know. So at that point, you're like at halftime, like you just mentioned, they're only up by 10 points going into the half. Mm-hmm. So at halftime, you're like, yo, you know what? You got to shake it off, forget all that, come back and go crazy. But it just looked like his confidence went like this the whole game. It just started going like this, and it didn't look like he was going to get back. And bro, it turned into a 41-9 game at one point. It was,
yeah, he looked shook. He looked shook. And honestly, man, you got to give props to Drake May. He is just having one hell of a season coming into his second season. That pass he threw to Keyshawn Boutte, he just put the one arm out, caught the ball on Derek Stingley. That is some baller shit right there, man. That was just a damn good catch and pass. You cannot teach that. That is fantastic, and it's great to see Boutte, because a lot of people forget that he was a major deal at LSU and had some issues come up, and he was supposed to be the next big thing. And, you know, had some issues come up, and he kind of dedicated his life to changing things around. So it's great to see him finally showcasing the actual talent that he had, because that guy is extremely talented. And,
Bro, he barely drops balls. Barely drops balls. Like, if you go look at his stats, he probably dropped like 4 balls this season.
Yeah, no, he's one hell of a player. So that was a great pickup for New England. Man, you know, as a Colts fan too, and like I was saying before, I'm not going to talk about the Colts at all or anything like that, but damn it, man. Like, how the hell did you guys end up with Drake May? And it looks just like freaking Tom Brady's back in the building. The New England Patriots are about to go to the Super Bowl again, probably, man. Like, damn it. Like, how did we let this happen again?
No, dude, like, most of my friends are Miami Dolphins fans. So imagine, the Dolphins haven't won a playoff game since 2000. You know what it is? That greatest of all time in Tom Brady wins 7 Super Bowls in the same division as the Dolphins, where the Dolphins, there was some years that Tom Brady was there that they won the division, but most of the time the Patriots were winning that. He ends up leaving. He wins the Super Bowl with another team. And then before the Dolphins can win a playoff game, the Patriots draft another phenomenal quarterback and takes him to the AFC Championship. Bro, I feel bad for Dolphins fans. I feel bad for Dolphins fans.
Yeah, it's just like, man, how did we end up letting this happen? Mike Vrabel's doing one hell of a job with the New England Patriots. They look the real deal. So do you want to be able to make a pick on this one? You got the Broncos and the Patriots, and Bo Nix is there. I think this game is completely different, but I think you kind of have to lean with the Patriots just the way the defense is playing. Drake Mason playing really well. I don't think that there's always a puncher's chance. It is the playoffs, and you don't even know what you're getting out of Stidham. Stidham's only, I believe, started 5 games in his entire career. But the heater that the Patriots are on right now, it's tough to bet against them going into this with a backup quarterback like Jarrett Stidham. You know, I mean, you can always bring up the whole Nick Foles, but this isn't Nick Foles. So, yeah, well, we'll move on. I think we're going to go ahead and both. Go ahead.
If they did have Bo Nix, who would you choose?
Denver. I think if Bo Nix was there, I would choose Denver. I would
still go Patriots, man. Like, they're just playing crazy good.
No, I mean, I think either one is a safe bet. I do think that either one's really good, but I just think that Bo Nix and the way that offense plays, and I think they thrive on the defense, and I think that it would have been a lot different of a game. But I think New England should go in there. The cold weather's shouldn't really affect them, considering what they just went through last weekend. I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think the defense is really going to put something on New England because they're going to have to. But I just don't think that they're going to have enough offensive weapons to be able to compete with what the Patriots are doing offensive and defensively, man. Well, we also have one other championship game, and that, my friends, is the NFC Championship game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. That NFC West is being represented hard in this game in here. GMike, man, who would ever thought that it would be the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game? Me, you, and Brandon all picked the Rams to win this division, so we kind of had a feeling that the Rams would be pretty good, but the Seahawks has been putting on a friggin' show. What's your thoughts on this one? Speechless.
Dude,
cool.
I think the way that Sam Darnold's been playing, man, he's been proving a lot. He's been proving a lot of people wrong, especially myself, man. It's been crazy to watch. Jackson Najigba has turned into one of the best receivers in the league right now. If not the best, he's probably top 5 for sure. But, you know, them going up, their defense is pretty phenomenal as well, going up a great Rams offense where they have a great defense as well. I think this is going to be the best game to watch. This is going to be the game to watch. And this was going to come down to the wire, man. I think both teams have good offenses and defenses, 2 great quarterbacks, but I choose Matthew Stafford on that side. I think he's going to win MVP this season. And because of him, I think they're going to win this game by a field goal.
I'm going to go the opposite in this one. I'm taking Seattle in this one. I love the way they're going. I think Jackson Smith-Njigba is the real deal, and that defense has just been stifling. I think, and then you go on the special teams. I mean, started off last game with Rashid Shaheed running the ball back. And he's been a hell of a great returner for them, and it's been setting them up in great positions. We are talking about that during the trade deadline, that we both all thought that was a huge pickup for them, that's going to be one of those unsung heroes for this team. And I think he's been doing fantastic. Darnold has looked great. He's finally, I think, feels comfortable. It takes some of these guys a little bit of time. So I've been on the show. I've been probably the biggest Sam Darnold supporter on the show. But I'm going to continue with it. I think that he's going to be able to get it done. And I like what I'm seeing out of Seattle. They look good. I think their coach is outstanding. I think the coach knows exactly what he's doing. They have a great coordinator as well, who hopefully for Seattle sticks around there, but he's probably going to be getting a head coaching job here probably pretty soon with one of these jobs that's opening. But if not, stick around there for a little while and make something happen with this. But excuse me. I think that it's going to be a very close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch. And I totally agree with him. I think this is going to be the game to watch. But yeah, we're gonna differ on this one, and I'm gonna take Seattle to win this game. And I'm gonna maybe go by like 10. I think that it's gonna be a tight game, but I'm gonna go by like 10.
10.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Seattle, man. You want to hear something really messed up about football is that Sam Darnold will have if he makes this, will have more Super Bowl appearances than Josh Allen does right now. Isn't that a cold, hard truth, man? Just messed up how mean that is sometimes when you got numbers like that. It's just not fair.
You better watch out for Bills Mafia, Stevie. You better watch out.
No. I want Josh Allen to get it. I don't want the Mafia to come find me or something. I'm just saying that's what's just messed up sometimes about how this brutal this game can be sometimes, is that Josh Allen deserves, can't we just give him a pass and just put him on one of these two teams? Let him go play for the Broncos, for Christ's sake. He deserves the chance to get to the damn Super Bowl, in-season trade. Let's just do it, man. Let's get him in there and have a chance to play for it. All right, man. So that's it for the championships, man. We're going to go ahead and jump into our down bad debate.
It's time for the down bad debate.
All right, tonight we got a fun down bad debate, NBA style tonight. What 90s point guard are you picking to play in today's NBA? Your choices are John Stockton, Gary Payton, Allen Iverson, and Jason Kidd. GMike, my friend, you are up first.
Before I pick, can we ask ChatGPT why they make Jason Kidd look like Stephon Marbury? Why is that?
A little bit, yeah, I can see that. I mean, yeah.
That's freaking hilarious. In today's NBA, man, as a point guard, you need to be able to score at will. You need to be able to facilitate the rock. Obviously, that's been going around for ages, and still to this day. You don't really need to play defense like that in today's NBA. But you need to be a good coach on the floor. You need to be a good teammate, obviously, and you need to really hustle to the ball, especially on offense. You really need to hustle around the picks. You need to really hustle off the ball, create your own shot, make a three-pointer, all the good stuff when it comes to scoring, man. So I would pick Allen Iverson because the way that this man was killing defenses back then, bro, nobody can stop this man. This guy took a Philadelphia Sixers team in 2001 to the damn NBA Finals by himself.
What do you mean, Eric Snow didn't help him out?
If today's NBA, man, this guy is putting up a lot of points and he's helping a team win for sure. I got AI.
That was a good pick. But just because I've always been a huge fan, I'm going to take John Stockton. I think John Stockton would be able to run the floor, and he has enough offensive power to be able to score as well. He's got enough defense to be able to maintain with the guards in the NBA today, and he was nasty, man. He made it look like a sweet guy, but he's one of the biggest shit talkers in the NBA, man. So I'm actually going to take John Stockton in this one. I can totally understand why you would want to go Allen Iverson in it, though. Allen Iverson was amazing, and he would fit into the NBA today, no problem. But if I had to pick here, I'm going to go John Stockton. I don't think that Gary Payton would be as relevant without his defense was great.
Negative.
He'd basically be a Draymond Green guard, really. And I think Jason Kidd is always going to be one of the greatest, point guards of all time. But I think out of these, I would rather have Stockton's scoring ability a little bit more out of the two of these ones, I guess. So, yeah, I'm going to take John Stockton.
AI, baby. And it ain't Stephon Marbury. That's Jason Kidd there.
Yeah, you gotta love AI, man. I'm not so you gotta love technology, man. All right, man. Well, this is going to go ahead and wrap it up for Views from the Stand for tonight. We had a fun show. BC, get out of that traffic, man. We'll be seeing you on Friday. We'll be having a special guest on Friday as well, 7 p.m. So looking forward to that. We're going to be posting a clip. We got a lot of actually guests coming up here in the next about month, man. We're pretty much always booked up every show with having a special guest, and that's also thanks to you guys out there for watching and contributing and passing it along and being a part of the show and helping us out. Give us likes, subscribes, and passing it along. So we really appreciate that. GMike, you got anything else you want to pass along to the people?
Yeah, guys, just follow us on our socials. We got IG, we got YouTube, we got Spotify where the podcast episodes will be out. We got X for Views from the Stands now, and please give a like and subscribe, share with your family and friends or whoever you got roaming around you, a neighbor. When you go watch the games, the guy sitting next to you, the person sitting on your right, the person sitting on your left, let them know about Views from the Stands, baby. Top podcast show about sports. You already know.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so we're not even forgetting anybody else. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. So pretty much anywhere else that you're out there.
Varsity Sports on Roku. You open up your Roku TV and look up Varsity Sports Nation, and we're on there, baby.
Absolutely. And just so we have it coming pretty soon, we're going to be having our Shopify store. So if you want to be even more part of it, we'll be getting some new memorabilia out there. So we're going to be having a lot of big stuff coming. This is going to be a huge year for us. So we want you guys along for the ride with us, and we truly appreciate everything you guys do for us and with us. And just be safe out there, and we will see you guys on Friday. Peace. We out.